Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing, Atom?
Sorry, pardon?
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Cool. All right, doing good. Helix, what's up?
Yes, good afternoon. I'm good. And you?
I'm all right, doing good.
All right.
Yeah, let's just give everybody a few minutes to get in. And sorry about the late start.
Yes. No problem. It's fine.
Yeah. At that time, sometimes I have clients in the office dealing with, and I can't exactly just run them off, if you understand what I mean.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys. Are we waiting for everybody to get in? Oh, looks like everybody's here already. Good afternoon, everybody. Let me just run through the just real quick. Nanel. Who's Nanel? Is that Naomi? No. Who's Nanel?
Yeah,
Marissa George. Okay, all right. Cool. Atom, Cedric is here. Taj Andre, Devon Patrick. Okay. Hi guys. Good afternoon. Everybody's week is going okay?
yes.
Yeah. All right. First things first, let's talk about the homework. Let's talk about first the homework that we didn't get a chance to talk about. I only realized that the class ended and we didn't do that in the last class. But remember, I had asked you to look into, to try out the different lasso tools. Yeah.
Right.
You guys can remember that. And to tell me which is your favorite, your go-to, or which one you had an easier time using.
The polygonal.
Polygonal. Anybody else had anything different?
The polygonal as well.
Polygonal as well. Okay. All right. Okay, let's talk about the homework now from the last class. I had asked you guys to create a simple business card for me. I do have a few of them you guys sent me by email. We're gonna go through them in a while. But what did it, let me know, did you guys have any difficulty doing that? Anything, any questions that you need to ask me? Anything that
Yes,
you wanted
sir.
to do, but you were not able to?
Yes, sir. You know, I was our question.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, go ahead,
the-
talk to me.
With the, I tried getting some vectors online. Those to show the call button and the
Okay,
yes, these. But they have a little background, the
Okay.
squares.
yeah.
And I was wondering how to take it out. I thought, as it was saying transparent, if you put it in the Photoshop, like they would not show.
Okay, so the thing is, if you had gotten a transparent file, then it would have been transparent. But what you got is a thumbnail of a transparent file showing the transparency, if you understand what I mean.
Oh, okay.
So let me show you how, let me take you step by step as to how I would deal with that. That's also not a vector, I don't think, but if you had downloaded the original file, it probably would have been, or a PNG. So you put it in as an object, an embedded file. So we can go to edit contents. And what you really want to do is separate the black from the background. And you were not able to do that because, well, you were not able to manipulate it very much, right? Because of the color mode. You see, it says index. When you see that, you want to change the color mode into RGB so you can work with it. To do that, you go to image mode and change it from index color to RGB color. Or you can go grayscale if you go in, if you're working with grayscale, or CMYK if you're working with CMYK. But for today, I'm going to change it to RGB. Once I've done that, what tool do you think I can use to extract the phone from the background?
Quick selection.
Right, quick selection, yeah, or the magic one. I just use the magic one. And layer via copy, put it in a new layer, and just make that one invisible. You can delete it later. You can actually delete it right now if you like, but just make it invisible, close, save changes, yes. Hold on. That's it. Okay, 1 second. Let's see. Wait, when you put it in, it was a PNG, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I am not sure why it's asking me to save it somewhere else. Let me just do this here. So that's it. All right, the actual layer was giving it a bit of a problem. All right, but you can see
Yes.
where we are, right? So it would
So-
be this. Go ahead.
Now I was going to ask, would I be able to do that? Let's say if I pull another something from the internet, some kind of not animation.
Like icon, for instance.
Yes, icon. Yes, that's the word. Would I be able to do that even if it doesn't have a transparent background? Let's say it has a black background or something else. Would I be able to do that with any of them?
The selection tools will work on any image. So in that case, it was easy because the object that you wanted was in black. But as long as you can isolate the object and it doesn't have to be in one color, you can isolate it to the polygonal lasso if that is what works for you. And you would be able to do the exact same thing. It's just the process might vary depending on the composition of the image.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. So that answers your question. So
Yes.
and also that would go into the first bit of feedback that I had when I looked at yours was the background in the icons, right? And this one I see it has a background as well. So you're gonna work on that. Let's just continue looking at yours while we're there. All right. Well, let's put it to the class. What do you guys think of Naomi's business card? Any feedback?
It's a little too simple.
Too
It's
simple?
more graphic.
Okay, but she did use the elements that we've worked with in the previous classes, which was she
Yes,
inserted the shapes, she
Yeah.
inserted the image, she inserted the text. So she pretty has
Well-
all of that done pat.
Yes, but what
Yeah.
I was thinking is like she could have added a bit more blue and yellow. That bring out the
Okay.
color
A little
more.
bit more design, a little bit more flair to the background and so on.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else?
I think it was good.
Okay.
I like it. It's simple and straightforward. It could have improvements in it, but I like it.
All
I
right.
like the way it is.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's not a bad card at all. I really like it. I like how we represent the numbers. And that's a comment that I'll bring up on the other cards. But I like how we represent the numbers, as in it would be like 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Put it into our local number translation. You could have used up the white space a little bit better. There's quite a bit of white space. Now, white space is not bad, but you know, as a graphic designer, you might want to show them what you can do with your card. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. Just, you know, give them something to think about, rather than the ultra simple look, right? But as a business card, it works. No complex. It would get the job done. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anybody else had any other questions or concerns? I'm gonna save that card now, so, and I'm looking forward to seeing the update.
Okay.
All right. Helix design. Let's talk about your card now. Well, how you find the homework? I can see you did quite a bit. Let me look at your layers here. You didn't give me much to work with in terms of your layers, though.
Able to see the layers because I merged all of them.
You merged everything, yeah. Okay.
You merged all of them.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But why though? I'm curious. Why did you do that? You were trying to hide them from me or something?
No, the reason why I needed to merge it is for me to use the the raw filter.
The raw filter. Ah.
It
And
was just
what,
the camera
tell me what you needed to use the filter to do.
Yes, the camera filter for me to enhance the shadows, the color lighting, the saturation,
Mhm.
and one more thing, which was the let me see.
Okay. Well,
There's one more. I can't remember it. It's one
Okay.
of the first ones on top.
all right, but it looks like you have a little problem with your ordering. Let me tell you one of the things that would make a graphic valuable. You see, editability goes a long way. Let's just say that you were doing that card for me, right? I was the client, right? And right now I love it. It's perfect. I want everything just the way it is.
Okay.
The only thing is my number is 767-289-1234, and I want you to make that change for me.
All right.
What are you gonna do?
I cannot change it.
You
No,
cannot
but,
change it. You have to go and start back the entire graphic. Basically do it all over again from scratch. Yeah. So in a situation like that, what I would recommend is, if you have an idea for a background for accompanying elements that will enhance your graphic, like a business card, you can work on that first.
Right.
Get it perfect, get the colors and everything just the way you want, get it bright. Flatten it if you have to, as a single image to run all your filters and your effects, and save that as the background. But that should be one layer called the background. Yeah. And then afterwards, everything else that you put on top of that should be editable, at least beyond the client's first review. Okay. So
Right.
even looking at that right now, one of the comments that I have is your text goes all the way to the edge of the card, like helixdesign@gmail.com. If you realize, even part of the M is cut out, it goes beyond the edge of the card.
Right. True.
Right. So if let's say I was the client and I was pointing that out, you wouldn't even actually be able to nudge your email a little bit to the left. You see the disadvantage? No, it's a
Right.
it's a nice design. I like the background, but you need to work on keeping your editable elements editable, because that is where the value is. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, it will also come in handy if, for instance, you wanted to, let's just say you were designing that for a company, and then you had to do a card for 20 other employees. Each of them have different phone numbers, different email addresses, and different names. So you would ideally create one design that you could just edit, make the simple edits for everybody else, like a sort of like a template, and not have to do the same thing over and over again to make your life easier. All right. So the next graphic I see from you, I hope to see some layers, some editable layers at least. Okay. I don't mind if you use your
no
filters, but try to keep the image elements separate when you rasterizing and running it through those filters that need to work with pixels. Okay.
Okay.
But it's a good looking card. My other comment now is your text is too close to the boundaries of the card, the edges of the card. Now, when we're dealing with mass production, let's say we're printing 100 cards, all right? A lot of the time, you're not going to be cutting the cards one by one. You're going to be stacking them up and cutting 10 sheets at a time, all right? In an industrial setting. Now, what that means is sometimes your design is going to shift a little bit. So you may, the top page may be perfectly aligned, but then when you align the other pages beyond, the image might have shifted a millimeter or two left, right, up or down on the other pages, right? So when you make a cut, all of the cards don't cut in the exact same place. So if you have your text running that close to the edge, any little shift, you're going to have your text cut off, like on the email, and that's going to misrepresent the brand. So what typically we do, and the rest of you guys take note as well, I'm going to create a new document. And I did tell you guys to create the card at 3.5 by 2. So 3.5 by 2, 300. Great. Now that is the print size of the card, right? And if you're doing cards, you're trying to get it to fit exactly. And when I do business cards, I try and conserve as much paper as possible. I get 12 cards on the page. So that means there's not room for the extra bleed like I'm going to show you right there. But still, putting your text away from the edges ensures that if the edges gets cut a little bit, you don't lose the entire T, for instance. You just lose a little bit in the edge. Okay. So so when you're doing stuff for industrial printing, typically you would create your document and then you would add a little bit extra on the outside. So usually the printers will let you know exactly what it is because it varies, but typically it's about 1/8 of an inch. So that means, notice I put my guides on the edges of my document, right? And I'm going to modify it just so you can see what it looks like. So image, canvas size. And I'm going to add a 1/8 of an inch at the top, at the bottom, on the right and on the left. And to do that, what I can do is simply add a 1/4 of an inch, so 0.25. So that's going to be 0.75 and 2.25. So I add a 1/4 of an inch, which will give me 1/8 of an inch all around. And let me just illustrate in color so you can see better. This is the area that my card is. That's the size of my card. But I would actually design it going beyond the edges, right? And I would still have a 1/8 margin on the inside. No, I'm just sort of guessing on the 1/8 right now, but color square. All right, guys. So you can see three different colors on the screen, right? So the white area would represent the full document, including any areas of bleed that you include for slippage, right? In case the blade pass and cut down the card in an area it's not supposed to. The black area shows the full size of the document, and the red area shows you where the important information should go. So you should have no text or other important information, pictures or anything going into the black area. Everything should fit in the red zone of your business card, ideally. Yeah, because everything in the white zone is intended to get cut off, and some stuff in the black zone may get cut off in the process of producing it and cutting it down and preparing it for the client. Okay, so that's just a tip for you guys when working with commercial stuff in the future. Keep your main content a little distance away. Go for 1/8 of an inch as a guide from your edges. All right, everybody get that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so the rest of you guys, what do you think of that card? Any feedback? I know somebody has some feedback.
I like the background, like the smoky effect and all that. in the back.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I like that you have the reflection of the M.
Oh, okay, yeah. And actually, if you notice, he has a reflection of the text as well. Although it
But yes,
might not be 100% aligned. Look at that, the word design at the bottom, the G is not really aligned. So you might want to consider fixing that.
Okay.
And any other comments, guys? Okay, I have one last comment for you.
Okay.
In terms of the colors and so on, the theme works fine.
All right.
But you see the WhatsApp number you have there, 767
All right.
289 4598. Anybody else having difficulty seeing 289, or that's just me?
Yeah.
A little bit of difficulty, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to look at that. You want your information to be easily readable. You don't want me to be squinting to see what you have written. An easy solution that would have helped you up there is a drop shadow, and we're gonna get to that in the second part of the class. All right, but a drop shadow would create sort of like a buffer between the bright purple and the white that's behind it, sort of creating a glare that you cannot really see. But yeah, it's nothing that could not be fixed with either a shadow or an outer glow or something like that. All right, or a slight change in color as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Let's move on to the next one. Devon Patrick, Lockdown Taxi Services, anytime, anywhere, any distance. Any comments, guys?
I love it. It's smart. I like it.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Anything else? Anything else?
Very professional.
Very professional, okay. Mhm.
I really like the elements on there, especially the padlock.
The padlock, right? It's lockdown oriented. It's a specific service for lockdown. You can tell that, right?
Yeah, I see what you have in the shadows and the lighting written on the vehicle from the shot. Yeah, I see it.
Okay. And that shadow may actually have been in the image. You got the shadow with the vehicle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On internet as a PNG.
As a PNG, okay, transparent PNG. All right. So that's it. No comments for Devon. That's it. It's great. It's professional. Congrats, Devon. You did everything right. I just have a couple comments that could probably help improve your design a bit.
Okay.
One, again, you could have made better use of some of the space. It has quite a bit of white space. Now, please note, white space is not bad, or the free space in the design is not bad at all. Just want to make sure that you're using it properly. For the telephone, I'm not really a fan of the small caps for the EL and the mail, but it works if that is what you want. I have no comments on it.
Okay.
In terms of the telephone number, I would represent it a little bit differently. So you send me a JPEG. See that there. Get to that. Okay.
You can check your email. I'll send the files for you.
You got send the.
Just sent not too long ago, so you can check it out.
See that. Already, I see. Come 1 second. Huh? Let me just get it down. Okay, you also linked, I didn't link to it. Okay. You linked a file to it. You can't find. Anyway, it's not a problem. It doesn't look like we're missing anything critical for the car. All right. So your car is actually a linked image, not an embedded image. So one thing you want to ensure is when you send in PSDs across email, that you embed your images.
Okay.
Right? Because you see right now it's giving me an error. It will show it to me, but it will limit what I can do with it.
Okay.
You see, it could not transfer because the link smart object file is missing. Right? So what you would do is you'd embed all of your images before you send it out. You probably were not there in the previous class where we were looking at how to link and embed images. But you can go back through the videos, and if you have difficulty with that, we can discuss that privately.
I was there, you know, but
you were there.
I wasn't too sure because the video, I don't think you had posted it online.
Okay.
But I kind of understand, but now, as you explained there, I fully understand now.
All right. So if you wanted to send the linked image, what you would have done ideally is you would have had a folder that would be your work folder.
Mhm.
You would have saved the Photoshop document in that folder, as well as all of your linked images. Right?
Okay.
And then you would send me that entire folder. So when I open up the Photoshop file, it would just look for the linked images in the same location, which is in the folder, and they will be there as well.
Okay, I understand.
All right. So that's another difference between the linked images and the embedded.
Okay.
Okay. So in terms of the telephone number, now take everything I'm saying there with a grain of salt. In the end, it's going to be you and your client that determines what is best for whatever the graphic that you're working on, right? I'm just going to give you tips that I like to use to, well, for one, it sets my designs apart, and I think it makes it easier to read, easier to understand. And my clients always have the option to object, and they usually don't. So let me just let you know what I would do. For one, lockdown taxi services. Yes, you might be catering for tourists, but primarily your client is who? The one that question is for you. Who's your client?
Anybody that want the services.
Anybody that want the services, right?
Yeah.
Within Dominica.
Mm-hmm.
So, which means that almost anybody that's calling for the services is not going to dial 1767.
It's true.
You understand? So
Yeah.
you're just giving them more work to read on the card. Now, granted, if you targeting the United States, for instance, let's say you're targeting tourists coming down and you want them to pre-book, you want them to book your let's say you have to pick them up at the airport, so you want them to book in advance. Then you want to put in 1767. All right.
Okay.
But if your target market is all local people, that 1767 is just extra letters, extra words for them to read, and is space that you could have used otherwise on your card. So I wouldn't take it out entirely, but usually if you put in the area code, you put it in brackets so people know it's optional. You put it if you need it.
Okay.
Right. The other thing is the one. Again, if you target in a specific market, you know it might be one. But let me know if you had that, if any of you travel, let me know if you have that experience. From one location to call home, you would have to dial 1767-225-2954. From a different location in the world, let's say if you're in England, you might have to dial 01767-225-2954. Somewhere else, let's say Germany, you might have to dial 001-767-225-2954. You guys are aware of that, right?
Sometimes the plus.
Right, or the plus one or whatever, the prefix changes. So it's not really always one. So usually I would leave that out and let the person figure out what is the prefix that they need to call out for whatever area that they're in, and not put in the one for them, because just dialing the one might give them an error on their end. Everybody get that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And the last thing, it is the right number, but to make it easier to read, typically separate it with a dash, because we read it 225-2954. If it's just 225-2954, it's a little bit harder to get in your head, or to call out to somebody, or to even read out to dial on the phone. Yeah, it's a psychological thing. You can look into it yourself. But I would just put a dash here to make it to separate the numbers. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Another thing, again, take it with a grain of salt, but the website, lockdowntax.com, it's good, it works, it's your domain. But for marketing purposes and for the average person, what I would do to make it easy for them to see what you're talking about, I would capitalize the words that are separate words. Now, in a website like Google or Yahoo.com, it doesn't really make a difference because it's just a single word. But as we know, .coms are getting more and more complicated. The good ones are getting more difficult to find. So we're having multiple words in our domains. And in a case like that, Lockdown Tax is actually the name of the business. So I would actually capitalize the first letter, right, of each word to make it easier to read. Now, whether or not they type it in capitals in the browser, it's going to not recognize the capitals anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference. But if you look at it at one glance, you can see what that they enchant, instead of trying to figure out where one word stops and another word end begins. It might be easy to figure out for Lockdown Taxi, but I had an example in my mind. Yes. Let me just give you a quick example. All right, guys, and let me know. I have been working on a project. All right. Can somebody read out that word for me, please? Or read out what's on here? I just typed up an address. Can somebody read that for me? Devon, can you read that for me?
Memtis, mimits.com.
Memtis, Mimits, Mehmet. You're not sure, right?
No, I'm not too sure.
Okay, now my intention with that is Mimtis. You get it? Mimtis, Mimts.
Very funny.
Somebody else would read it as Mehmet. You understand? So you want to avoid. Now, if I were to do this, how would you read it?
Can't really tell, because you already done tell us the answer.
Yeah, I know, but
So
but
I see
but you see in Mimtis now, if you just look at it, right?
Yes,
You get what I trying to get across.
yeah.
Okay, cool. So that is my point with that. Okay. Again, that is not hard rules that you have to use. These are just tips that I think would help out your design. Also, you have so much more words here. I would try and make it a little bit more. Sorry, I get your Photoshop file, so I'm going to play in it, right? Expect that if you ever send me your PSDs. But the one, apart from that, it looks pretty good. It looks like you have room to add more elements. Probably add a band down here and something. List your services,
I'm going to add more, but I wasn't too sure if
it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
You can keep working on it. I don't want to tell you what to add or if to add anything, right? You will figure that out. One more thing I wanted to point out though. You have anytime, anywhere, any distance. You intended for those to be asterisks?
Yeah.
Yes, specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, you intended for them to be asterisks, but for them to act as bullets. Am I right?
Yeah.
So what I would do is, instead of leaving it at the regular asterisk height, which is like above the line, I would drop the line height so that it works more like a bullet in the center of the line. You see what I mean? Look at one as compared to look at this one in the center of the line as compared to that one at the top.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
So-
looking neater.
Right. I was gonna say you really wanted to use a bullet there, but you could use an asterisk. That's fine. Just you would want to make things symmetrical as much as possible, you know, in the center of the line, just for
Okay.
center sake.
Understand.
All right, cool. Yeah, everything else I think is trivial. So good job, man. All right. Let's take a quick look at the next one. CJ Designs. That is Cedric. Is Cedric here? No? All right. I guess he couldn't make it to class today. But he sent me his work. So give me your feedback, guys. Let me know what you think.
I like it. It's colorful.
Yeah,
Very
I
attractive.
like the colors for sure.
And I like the font he used for the top. It's very it
It's
fits
unique.
the,
Well,
yeah.
what I would imagine is his logo. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that works. I would have one comment again with the number, the 1767. I'll probably just leave out the 1. If you put the 767 like that with a dash, it would work as well. I would have another comment, CJ Space Design for Facebook. I'm not sure it's CJ Space Designs. I think it would be CJ Designs without the space. I don't think Facebook allows spaces in their in the name, so he would need to fix that to be accurate. But not much else. Let's see. Oh, and well, he used a stock photo for the background, so we can see the watermark line still there. But again, that's trivial. So it's a good design, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Let's move on. Okay, and you just sent me a JPEG. All right, cool. So I think we reviewed all of those cards that I got. Some of you mentioned that you'll be sending me some cards later on. That's fine. We'll look at them again in the next class. No questions for me up to this point, right?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So I'm gonna stop here. I have on my countdown 3 minutes and 2 seconds for that 40-minute cutoff that I haven't quite figured out yet. So we're gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna come back in about 5 minutes. It's now 5:16. We'll come back at just about 5:20. And we're going to look at what else we can do with layers, right? Once we get an object into a layer, what we can do with it to make it stand out, to set it apart from the objects around it, to make it more visible, to make it not blend into your background, like some of the errors that we were looking at. Okay, so take a quick break, drink some water, get a quick bite maybe, and I'll see you back here in a few minutes, okay? I'll send the link as soon as I'm ready.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
guys, see you in a minute.
Oh, no.